Hey, everyone! Today, we're going to demystify one of the coolest shortcuts in algebra, synthetic division. If you've ever felt bogged down by long, messy polynomial calculations, you're in the right place. We're going to decode this visual guide to make your math faster, cleaner, and most importantly, error-proof. Let's master the algorithm, handle those remainders, and learn how to avoid the hidden traps together. So, why bother learning a new method? Well, just look at the comparison. On the left, traditional long division is full of redundant variables and excessive writing. It's basically an invitation for mistakes. On the right, synthetic division strips all that noise away. It focuses purely on the engine of the numbers, the coefficients. It's a lean, efficient process that gets you the quotient and remainder in a fraction of the time. Before we start crunching numbers, let's look at our game board. Using this color taxonomy, we have the gatekeeper, which is the zero of your divisor. For example, if you're dividing by x minus 3, your gatekeeper is 3. Then we have the input row for our original coefficients, the engine room where the multiplication happens, and finally, the output row where we find our new coefficients and the remainder. The actual logic follows a simple three-step engine. First, you drop the first coefficient straight down. Second, you multiply that number by the gatekeeper. Third, you add the numbers in the next column vertically. You just repeat this multiply and add pattern until you reach the very last column. It's rhythmic and surprisingly satisfying once you get into the flow. To really master this, we're going to look at the three archetypes you'll run into. Case 1 is the exact factor, where everything clears out to a zero remainder. Case 2 is the leftover, where we deal with non-zero remainders. And case 3 is the hidden trap, which covers those tricky missing powers of x. Let's map out each scenario so you're ready for anything. Let's start with case 1. We're dividing a cubic polynomial by x minus 3. First, we set x minus 3 to 0 to find our root, which is 3. That's our gatekeeper. Then, we extract the coefficients from the polynomial in descending order. 1, minus 2, minus 5, and 6. Now the grid is set, and we're ready to run the engine. Watch the execution here. We drop the 1, multiply it by 3 to get 3, and add it to the minus 2 to get 1. We repeat. 1 times 3 is 3. Added to minus 5 gives us minus 2. Finally, minus 2 times 3 is minus 6, and adding that to 6 gives us 0. Because that remainder is 0, we know that x minus 3 is an exact factor of our polynomial. No leftovers here. But what do those numbers in the bottom row actually mean? This is where the degree shift comes in. A good rule of thumb is that the quotient's degree is always exactly 1 less than what you started with. Since we started with x cubed, our answer starts with x squared. So, our output row 1, 1, minus 2, 0 translates beautifully into the polynomial x squared plus x minus 2. Now for case 2, the leftover. Here we're dividing by x plus 5, so our root is minus 5. When we run the synthetic division table this time, the math leads us to a final number of 20. This means x plus 5 isn't an exact factor, but that's totally fine. The synthetic method still works perfectly. We just have a little something left over at the end. When you have a remainder, you just need a specific format for your answer. You take your base output, which we shifted from degree 2 down to degree 1, and then add the remainder written as a fraction over the original divisor. So here, our final result is 3x minus 8 plus 20 over x plus 5. It keeps the math precise and easy to read. Now, pay close attention to case 3, the hidden trap. If you look at this polynomial, there's no x cubed term and no x term. If you just list the numbers you see, the grid will fail. To avoid this critical error, you must check for gaps and use 0 as a placeholder for every missing power of x. It's like a reserved seat at a theater. Even if no one is sitting there, the space must be accounted for. Let's see that 0 padding in action. Notice the zeros we've inserted for the missing x cubed and x terms. When we run the math with those placeholders, everything stays aligned. We start with a degree 4 polynomial, shift it down to degree 3, and end up with a clear, accurate quotient and our remainder of 34. This is the difference between a right and wrong answer. Let's take a quick architect's overview. of what we've covered. Case 1 gave us a clean polynomial. Case 2 introduced us to fractional output because of a remainder. And Case 3 showed us why those zero placeholders are so vital when we have missing terms. Seeing them side by side really shows how flexible this one algorithm is for any situation. Before you head off to try this yourself, here is your architect's checklist. First, always flip the sign of your divisor to find your root. Second, bridge the gaps. Don't forget those zero placeholders. And third, always remember the degree shift. Your answer is always 1 degree lower than your starting point. Follow these 3 steps and you won't go wrong. Alright, it's time to put your skills to the test. Try dividing this polynomial by x plus 4. Run your grid, watch out for the missing terms, and don't forget that degree shift at the end. Once you've got it, drop your final answer in the comments so we can verify the math together. You've got this.